There are, as the saying goes, three types of musicians: those who can count and those who can't. I would agree with that statement. Of all of my musician friends, we all fall into one of two categories. Also a brilliant mathematician, or not. There's no gray area. You're either really good at math or you're really bad at it. Nobody says, I loved math, but I sure wasn't very good at it. No. You're either good at it and you love it, or you're bad at it and you hate it. You either can solve differential equations with no problem, or you think Diffie-Q is something you get at Dairy Queen. Bach loved numbers. We know that for a fact. He used numbers as symbolism in his music. He would sometimes have a subject enter a certain number of times to symbolize something. Sometimes have a certain number of measures in a piece, or a certain sequence of pitches would equal up to a certain number of things. He especially liked to use numeric symbolism to refer to God and the holy, 3 and 7, so on. But I don't know if Bach was a good mathematician. I don't know if he could even balance his own checkbook. Maybe he just liked numbers. My sense is he was probably better at math than I am. That's a true statement, without a doubt. We hear a lot of times, math and music, they're so closely related. Really? If that's the case, then I should be Albert Einstein. And I am not, by any stretch of the imagination, Albert Einstein. I feel like music and math are pretty far away from each other. You know, they share a few things like pitch frequencies and basic, and I mean basic numbers. And that's kind of what I'm going to talk to you about today. To be a really good musician, your math skills only need to extend as far as the number 2 and the number 3. If you can handle those two concepts, 2 and the multiples thereof, 4, 6, 8, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, and 3 and the multiples thereof, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. Hey, look at that, I did it. Then you're pretty good. And the juxtaposition of those two numbers, how they relate to each other, 2 and 3, and how they fit together, that's about as high, complicated math as you'll ever need in music. And today I think Bach gives us a little bit of a study of 2 versus 3 in the G-sharp minor prelude. Let me tell you what I mean. If we take a simple pattern like this, we can feel that one of two ways. Dut, 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 as groups of 3. Or we can feel it another way. As groups of something else. They're grouped differently. And so the pulse of the music shifts. Da 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 versus da 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 da. And that's kind of the trick. That's kind of the trick in music, to put those 2s and 3s against each other so that they sort of shift the pulse. The ocean kind of moves more quickly or more slowly. And you're going to hear that in Bach in the Prelude. And I think it was Bach's intention to obfuscate the pulse. So you wouldn't know, do I tap here or do I tap here? Or where is the pulse? Where is the pull of the music going? So hopefully, if I've played it correctly, you'll also be confused as to where is the pulse in some places, or you might sense a shift in the pulse. The fugue itself, the only thing about the fugue is it's just hard, really hard. Anytime you have a fugue and the subject itself has got 2 double sharps in it, it's not going to get any better. In fact, by the time I finally got it recorded and I went back and listened to it, there's a big old wrong note in it, and I left it in there. So if you can find it and tell me about it, I'll give you an extra special mention or something. So here we go, the Prelude and Fugue in G sharp minor from the Well-Tempered Clavier, Book 2, 1.